And before I even joined all of this, I was kind of wondering whether, whether I would be, whether I would meet the criteria really to be one of these people. I am uncomfortable with the word expert, as some of the people mentioned earlier as well, because sometimes you get to the top, so to speak, of a particular body of knowledge, and then you discover some of the weaknesses of it, and then you have to go on to something else, actually. So it's kind of a weird experience. But so I wouldn't have been, my forte would not be professional coaching, for example. I can hold professional coaching conversations, but I just know that it's not my sweet spot. So I was kind of questioning whether I'd be okay for that. Also, there are a couple of prerequisites as well. I want to just say that even though you don't, you can do the prerequisite classes with anyone really on the IC Agile website. My experience has been that a lot of classes get cancelled by other providers, and the quality is variable in my experience. I was actually disappointed with one of them, and the other one I'm still due to have, actually. So because it keeps being cancelled all the time. So just be selective about which provider that you go with. I can see though that the people who've gone through the AWA prerequisite courses, they have an advantage in that they were made familiar already with the AWA playbook, for example, which has been referred to regularly during the cohort. So it gives you kind of a big advantage. No regrets since I applied. Really enjoying the fortnightly calls. Also, voluntarily joining in between calls as well on the other weeks, and those calls are working quite nicely. There's a Slack channel as well. But one thing I would say to anybody considering applying is you need to make sure you make space for this. So you're going to have to develop a case study, and you kind of build things up, and you have so many things going on. Just be careful that you don't kind of overdo it. And I know that I kind of overdid it a little bit, and then kind of learning from that and getting better. Now I've turned off the tap, so to speak, not taking any more work for the moment, while I just kind of get all this, get on top of my case study, get on top of my journaling. And, sometimes we get some homework as well in between some of the calls. In terms of the value that I'm getting out of it, what I like about it is it gives me some structure to reflect on how I'm getting on with my current clients. And so, have I done this? Have I done that? Or what about this? What about that? So, for example, I work with some apprentice coaches. I like the idea of developing apprentice coaches in organizations where I work, because they understand the business domain, they understand the technical domain, probably more credible as coaches. So if I try to develop them over a 2-year period, wouldn't that be fantastic? But I hadn't done a team alliance with these coaches, and I kind of got a trigger to say, okay, let's design a team alliance with the coaches. And essentially we agree that, that if it was the Euro 2020 finals, for example, recently, you don't really want the linesman and the referee disagreeing with each other on the pitch while the game is being played. So can we kind of argue in private and kind of be aligned in public, kind of thing? Simple little things like that, where we agreed how we would behave. Also, it's a reminder as well, the homework we have this week is to check in on what are we doing about making sure that we're credible for our audience. It's all very well to know what you know and to be very skilled and experienced, and even to be a great communicator, but can you hold an audience? Can you be an equal really with exec leaders? And what are you doing yourself to try and help yourself to be in that situation where you're trusted, where people feel that you really understand their business domain, you understand their technical domain, you understand their problems, you're not coming in and just prescribing something off a menu kind of thing, that you really are understanding. So I found that very useful. I think the case study is really going to be the litmus test for a lot of us in terms of documenting our journey through the organization, the highs and the lows and so on. And so I am really, really enjoying it. I don't have any regrets. I wouldn't say I should have joined it earlier. I think it was probably the right time, despite the gray hairs in my head. But I really am enjoying it. And if you feel that you need to be so good at everything that you almost feeling like you've got imposter syndrome, I would say just check in on that, because what I'm noticing is that other members of the cohort are kind of balancing my weaknesses with their strengths. For example, there's a lady in my current cohort. She's already solved the problem of how you get a growth promotion path going on in an organization where you can get promoted horizontally with more skills as opposed to just going the vertical route. And she's already cracked that problem. And in my organization, we're scratching our heads. We have some ideas, of course, but this lady has already done it. So, and there's been other examples like that as well. So you get great leaders, you get really good peers as well on the journey with you. The conversations have been very, very fruitful. Probably talking too much now. If you have any questions, please let me know.